السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد, I hope that the sound is good. Today, inshallah Azza wa Jal, we will be speaking about a very important topic that we must address. And I've said that I will hold a lecture about this topic before. And inshallah Azza wa Jal, this is a very important topic to speak about, especially in these days, or especially in the modern times. And you guys know that in this series of the Friday lectures, and so one of our main goals is to address things or address issues that have to do with our time, or that are more spread in our time. And we've spoken before about, issues related to things like phones, wasting time on games, and all of these things. We've spoken about uh, people that have issues with sins. Like, as an example, we spoke about uh, we spoke about things like porn, yani, and so on. And today, inshallah Azza wa Jal, we will speak about another very important topic that I've honestly been wanting to speak about for a pretty long time, yani. And just give me 1 second, inshallah. And this topic is the topic of al al طيب of al-Gheerah. So the topic today will be about al-Gheerah. Now, first of all, what is this aslan? What do we mean by this word? By al-Gheerah, we or before we start, al-Gheerah basically is a term derived from the root meaning of change, or of being yani, angry or so. And some of the people who have written in this topic, they have said that it refers to the uh, the re the reaction of a person, and the anger when someone shares in a right that is that is exclusive to that one guy, or to that one person. And this is a natural instinct that we have. طيب? And basically, what we will focus about today, and of course, al-Gheerah is or has a lot of types. What we'll focus on today is this fire, or this يعني anger that you feel when, as we said, your right, or the right that is exclusive to you, is shared with another with another person. And this shows, or it shows the the desire of a person to protect its honor, and to protect the honor of those whom it loves. طيب? And this, of course, means to protect it from anything which is bad. طيب? Uh, and as we said, it is also linked to wanting to protect to pro to pro to protect something. طيب. Now, before we go into what this means, or how we can apply this also, we need to say that al-Gheerah is from the is from the sifat of Allah Azza wa Jal. And this is what we can see in actually many of the يعني ahadith, where the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, لا لا شخص أغير من الله. There is no person that is more jealous than Allah Azza wa Jal. And in the rest of of the riwayah, he says, alayhi salatu wassalam, that this is or that be because of this, Allah made sins يعني haram. طيب. And of course, so as we said, this is something that any normal per- person has, and as well this is from the sifat of Allah Azza wa Jal. And from this we can see that the Gheerah of Allah Azza wa Jal uh, be, or becomes clear to us through the fact that Allah uh, told us to stay away from يعني from الف from الف 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 الفواحش يعني. And الفواحش is you could say يعني obscenities or so. And this includes those that one can see and those that one can cannot see. طيب. So because we are servants of Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah is يعني or Allah has غيرة يعني over us, and He does not want us to fall into things that are يعني immoral or so, or Allah Azza wa Jal He يعني also does not want us to does not want our uh, hearts to يعني turn away from the deen. طيب. And this is why Allah Azza wa Jal يعني sent us the prophets, and He revealed the the scriptures so that He can warn us to stay away from these things. طيب. Next up, we say about the ghira of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was the most protective of the ummah. And he said in a hadith, أتعجبون من غيرة سعد. Are you amazed by Sa'd's غيرة? Of course, this is when I think the hadith was that Sa'd said that if he would find a man with his wife, then he would يعني end him. طيب. ف the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, uh, are you amazed at Sa'd's غيرة? And then he said that he sallallahu alayhi wasallam is أغير من سعد, يعني that he has more غيرة than Sa'd, and that Allah Azza wa Jal has more غيرة than him. Now, of course, this shows us that غيرة needs to also be built upon knowledge, and not just upon يعني غيرة without knowledge or so. طيب. فغيرة without knowledge about this topic could go into ways that are not correct. Now, we speak about the two types of al-ghira. The first one is the ghira that Allah Azza wa Jal loves, and the second one is the one that Allah Azza wa Jal He does not like. So the first one is of course that which is good, or the praise the praise طيب. And this is what occurs uh, when there is a real cause for doubt, or for or for suspicion or so. As for the blame worthy غيرة, then that is the one that arises without any doubt, without any proof for it. And it is based, or it is only based upon assuming bad about people. And this is why we see, or one example we could apply this to is when someone he has nothing to, he has no reason to ever doubt his wife. طيب. However, he gets a wiswas about her, that she might, speak to other men or so. And so because of that, he, without any proof, he starts to have these doubts, and he then thinks that this is the good form of al-ghira, when in truth he is just building this on of his wiswas. طيب. And of course, this is something that is not good, and because this will lead to corrupt the relationship between the people who are involved in this. So the true virtue lies in being pro in being protective when that is required. طيب. As an example, if a man, and we will speak about this inshallah ta'ala in more detail in a second as well. If a man goes with his wife to a store and he finds that she is talking to a guy or so, then of course in this case he should stop that and talk to her about that, and tell her that this is something that he doesn't accept. طيب. And because of this, so this is the the praiseworthy one, where there's an actual reason to have this type of of غيرة, as we said. Now I want to go and speak about the link between غيرة and between being a man. In Islam, غيرة is one of the basis of being a man. A male who does not have غيرة for his wife, for his sister, for his daughter, and so on, then he is not a real man. Then he is not a real man. And how many, or how often have we seen, Wallah understand, how this has left people? But we will speak about this later on as well. And all of this now, what I said now, this is all like an introduction to what we will speak about after that, inshallah Azza wa Jal. A true man, his value and his honor and so, it is tied to how he protects his family, to how he protects his his wife or his wives, to how he protects his sister and his daughter and so on, طيب, and how much غيرة he has over them. And those who lack this, the males who lack this, as we said, they are not men. Yes, they may look like men, okay, but in reality they are not men. وال والعياذ بالله. طيب. So a true man is the one, or the true man is the one who ensures that his family is is يعني protected from these يعني from these things that should not be or should not come to them. طيب. And when a man lacks غيرة, then that leads to him being that which we call a a the youth, and that is a state that even يعني animals do not reach to. والله المستعان. The youth, يعني in short, as the scholar said, the asl in it, يعني the default in it, is that it is a male person who doesn't have an issue with, as an example, his wife or his sister or so. He doesn't have an issue with another man being with them, or with another man doing يعني that which a man does uh, with with his wife. The male person who doesn't, or who يعني doesn't have an issue with men doing that to his wife or to his sister or so, then he is a a youth. طيب. But of course, uh, nowadays, yes, يعني this is not as common. I mean, it is pretty common in the West, but in Muslim countries, you often see يعني males who they don't have an issue with their wife going out in clothes that she shouldn't go out with, or with his daughter going out in clothes that she shouldn't wear or so. طيب. And he doesn't have an issue with that. طيب. والله المستعان. So as we've said before, غيرة, number one, is uh, for your wife. طيب. But as we said as well, it could also be among your sister, يعني generally among the محارم. And as well, we say, sorry, we say that the most honorable of people are those who first have غيرة for themselves, and number two, have غيرة for their close circles, as we said, like the harem, or the wife or so, and then has غيرة for the general public. طيب. يعني now, if a real man, he sees a sister who he doesn't know أصلا, but he sees that, يعني as an example, let's say a man looks at her in a bad way or so, then even if he doesn't know her and he doesn't care, يعني, or يعني not he doesn't care, but he doesn't know her and he doesn't want things from her, he will still go and he will pro he will protect her from this guy who يعني, and we see this a lot when our sisters are attacked in the west يعني or so طيب والله المستعان. And of course this as well goes back to that one uh, 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 يعني tells people to do good يعني, or what we call الأمر بال بالمعروف والنهي عن المنكر. And we have of course spoken about this before. والله المستعان. Now I want to go into the main part of this. طيب 1 second, just need to الله المستعان. طيب now in our series that we're currently doing about the West, in that series I will inshallah azza wa jal يعني at the time of giving this we haven't recorded that class yet, but there will be one class especially about the يعني how the society in the West treats uh treats females and so on. However, that will be more about the West here. In this one here, inshallah azza wa jal, I will speak about us. I will speak about the the or those who say that they follow Islam. So how or what do we see in these days that occurs with the with the Gheerah? We see a huge deviance in this issue. We see a huge deviance in this issue. Well, billah. And there are many challenges that face us today in regards to this issue. Number one, I'm sure we can all tell yani, that Gheerah in this modern world is under a huge attack from a lot of sides. Number one, and this is of course the worst one, from things from يعني indecent videos يعني or magazines or so طيب, trying to normalize zina and to normalize يعني that one uh, does not dress in a good way and so on. So we can all tell, I'm sure, no one will disagree that the West are trying to a very big or they are trying a lot to take Gheerah from the Muslims. And unfortunately, have they succeeded? Yes, they have succeeded partially. A lot of people in these days who ascribe to Islam, even some of those people think that they're scholars or people of knowledge, you'll find him, Allah musta'an, going out with his daughter, with her wearing uh, a dress that ends at يعني her her knees يعني or so. And some people think that these guys are mashayikh, you know? Wallah musta'an. And even if you say طيب I would never watch porn or يعني look at يعني or look at girls in the street or so. Most people, wallah musta'an, they watch the entire day these uh, TV series and these things that are full of this. And when will you actually ever find a TV series where there is, or where the females in it dress in a correct way? And if someone can find me this, then you can let me know. Because this doesn't exist every time in these يعني movies or TV series or so, you will always find that, sorry, that the females are portrayed in a way, or that they're being used. طيب they are being used to attract men, to incite the to incite the to incite the desires in men, so then that they will be attracted to that movie or TV show or so. And as I said, we'll speak about this more when we speak about the on the, I think it will probably the eighth or the ninth episode of our series about the West. But now I wanna, as we said, speak about more focus. يعني focus more what occurs between the Muslims. Now, this environment that the West has put up for us has led to a huge يعني deviation in this part, in this natural instinct to يعني protect your wife or to protect your sister or so. طيب. And now this has either, or sorry, and now this normal thing is seen as something that is extremist and so on. طيب الحين why do the West want the sisters not to wear the niqab or so? Because for them, they will gain from that she doesn't do that. They will be able to see her and so on. طيب. And also from the different side is that, when they spread this type of immorality amongst the Muslims, that then the Muslims will يعني fall into these يعني desires and so on. This is what we see now, Allah understand, from a lot of sides, uh, from the spread يعني of a lot of these issues that the West spreads amongst the Muslims, from يعني porn and these TV series and so on. So they want to destroy. sorry, sorry. So they want to destroy the natural desire in the Muslim man. Of course, this applies to the sisters as well. Uh, but uh, we will focus here more about the man. But يعني everything or most of the things that I say about men, you could apply to to the sisters يعني as well. Uh, of course, it's not the exact same, but to a big extent. Yeah. And we might speak about the issue that has to do with the sisters يعني as well in a separate day, inshallah azza wa jal. This environment has led to a total loss of honor, which is what we called ad ad Diyāthah. طيب. And of course, this in the West is a lot worse. يعني in the West, you'll find you will find that a man, he genuinely doesn't have an issue with someone else going to his wife يعني or so. طيب. I recall even there was a guy who wrote يعني that I'm glad to record like a film with my wife and with her friend. Allah understand. For these people, they are, as we said يعني even يعني even animals haven't reached this, as as Ibn al-Qayyim said in الداء والدواء. فالله المستعان. As Allah Azza wa Jal said that these kuffar, إنهم إلا كالأنعام بل هم أضل السبيل. They are like the an'am. They are even more deviant than the an'am. Yeah, the an'am, of course, are the are the cattle. طيب. فالله المستعان. Now, of course, one of the uh, other modern deviances is uh, is that a man, as an example, contra he contradicts himself in this issue. What does wh- what does that mean? يعني now, when it comes to his wife, he doesn't want anyone to come close to her. But then when it comes to the wives of others, he doesn't have a problem. What do I mean with this? What I do mean with this are these quote unquote mashayikh or these zanadiqa, and most times they're kuffar. Uh, Maybe and sometimes they're not, but in most cases they are. So these people who give fatawa saying that, oh, the woman can go to work and the woman can talk to men and the woman can do this and the woman can do that and she doesn't have to cover her face and so on. طيب. This same person, he wouldn't allow this to be done. He wouldn't allow his sister to do this. He wouldn't allow he wouldn't allow his wife to do this. He wouldn't allow his daughter to do this. But that he says, or that he makes other men's daughters do this, it's okay. Wallah musta'an. And the same thing applies to what? Applies to the same man who is very jealous over his wife, but then when he's at work, he speaks to the wives of other people and he jokes with them and he does this and that. I'm not even going to speak about the side that is this allowed or not. Of course, it's not allowed, طيب. But how can you get mad at someone speaking to your wife when you are speaking to his wife, bro? Like, Allah understand. Subhanallah. For this, what we see today, or today, that you have a man who genuinely understands what Gheerah is, who can genuinely apply it in the correct way. This is extremely rare, as we said. But yeah, so as well, the thing that these same people who, as we said, contra they contradict themselves. They wouldn't accept it for their wife. They wouldn't accept it for their daughter or so. But they would accept it for the daughters of people or so. This is a form of an-nifaq. Inshallah, the next week's lecture will be about an-nifaq. Inshallah Azza wa Jal. Allah musta'an. طيب. Now, of course, الغيرة can also, the good غيرة can also turn into the bad one. And this is what is fueled by سوء الظن, that you assume bad. طيب. That you assume bad about your wife or about your sister or so. Or this also goes under constant surveillance and so. And this is something, Allah understand, I've seen so many people ask mashayikh on. Can I check my wife's phone? Can she, or yani she asks, can I check my husband's phone or so? I have a doubt that he might be talking to other girls. Allah musta'an. This is all from the wiswas. Inshallah Azza wa Jalla will also have a separate lecture, maybe the week after the next one, about wiswas. Inshallah. Because this is also one of the very important things to speak about. Wallah musta'an. So this wiswas is from the shaitan to make issues between the between the married uh, between the married couple, and then of course يعني, and a lot of times you find this in uh, couples that they didn't have any issue before that. But the shaitan, as we know, as we've said before, will always try to destroy the family. طيب. And so the shaitan will try everything to destroy it. And this is why we must know the ways of the shaitan, so that when we get this wiswas, we can stay away from it, inshallah Azza wa Jal. And we will not fall for it. طيب? This is a very, this is a very im, important thing. Now, of course, this constant surveillance and this assuming bad without any actual cause for doubt, this will, number one, corrupt the relationship between the man and his wife. It will cause issues between them. Number two, it will cause psychological uh, harm to the family as well. And number three, the it will make the family home, which is a place that should be full of yani, comfort and feeling safe and so on. It will make it feel like a jail cell. Of course, in the end, this will lead to being divorced or so. Well, well, عياذ بالله. Now, of course, also a very big part of removing Gheerah from the people is phones. And we've previously spoken about this with all of these ads and so on. Big companies using uh, females for to attract men to them. طيب. And and these things. And of course, something else that we see a lot of times, and this is also one of the things that come from delaying marriage and so, is uh, the rise of course, besides issue of porn or so, the rise of uh, haram relationships through the phone, or the source of it will be the phone. So the phone will start it. He will meet a girl online, and she, will meet this guy, and so, and then of course he will deceive her and so on, and tell her, yani, I love you so much, and so on, and then she will fall for it, and so, and it's always the same story, and all of this comes from what? Of course, it comes first of all from delaying the from delaying marriage amongst the young people. طيب. Number two, it comes from the يعني, so we could say it comes from the uh, the correct thing being difficult to achieve, which is that you get married and build a family and so. And the thing that is not correct being so easy to achieve, being at your fingertips the entire day. طيب. So this is what has led to this huge rise in zina, number one, in porn usage and so on. And of course, all of this is a direct cause to this يعني, age that we live in, where most male people, they don't care what يعني, his wife she wears or so, طيب, or what his daughter wears or so. And some men, sorry, some male people, because they're not men, who uh, have a daughter that is, let's say, like she's 16 or 17 or so. He allows her to go outside with clothes that she shouldn't even wear at at in 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 the in the in the house. طيب. And then he says, Wallah, she's still young, you know. Inshallah, afterwards she will wear the يعني the hijab or so. والله المستعان. Number two, there's also this normalization of women showing their beauty online. Most famous of this, of course, is Instagram. يعني Instagram, والله العظيم, I deleted it like a year or two ago. I honestly don't recall when. I deleted because of this issue. We would run at that time. We would run an account where we would post pictures of da'wah, s- sayings of the salaf or so, right? And with all of that, I would literally, when I would search for something, I would still get images that I cannot say even here. طيب. ف and every time you click that I'm not interested in this, and they would still come to you and come back to it and so on. Wallah musta'an. But they want you to fall into this. طيب. They want you to uh, fall into this. And this entire idea of also, I recall as well, in the West and so, and we've spoken about this as well. And we'll still, as I said, speak about this inshallah Azza wa Jal in the series about the West and so. There is a lot of the females who they their entire, or okay, no, sorry. So as Allah Azza wa Jal said that, and as the Salaf said, that the default of the female is that she wants to look nice. She wants men to tell her that she looks nice and so. But now, when she doesn't get that through her her husband, then of course she will go and get that through different ways. Wallah musta'an. طيب. Of course, this could either be some guy at work who looked at her in a nice way, and of course she thinks that he just likes how she looks and so on. Yani, this is an entire different topic. I don't want to go into it here. And then he will tell her a nice word, and then she will fall for him and so on. Or she posts online for millions of men, sorry, of male people to look at and to enjoy and to uh, please himself too. طيب. So number one, we have, or sorry, so we have three main sources where this comes from. Number one, this comes from these male people that are not men. These males that don't know what it means to be a man, who they allow their daughters and their wives and their sisters and so to go out late at night, dressed tight clothes, short clothes, and so. And then he doesn't even care to ask who she was with, if she was with a guy or with a girl or so, or what they were doing or so. And then he's shocked when she comes home with a kid. Number two, the normalization of remixing. Now, this alone needs an entire lecture on its on its on its own, يعني, how bad this is, and what is built upon this, what comes from this. طيب. يعني, a lot of these modern things they call to mixing genders, uh, men and women can be friends. I guarantee you 99% of these men and women friends, either one of them has feelings for and in most cases it is the guy, يعني طيب. But he will not tell it. And I remember when I was still in school here in Germany, I would see this left and right, bro. And والله العظيم, subhanallah. Uh, and of course, as well as we said, school, work, university, and so on. And this removes the natural sense of protecting, or the natural role of a man as the one pro who protects here. Number three, or sorry, before we go to number three, I want to mention some more things about free mixing. So as we said, this will open the door for a man to look at any girl that he wants in the street or at work or so. And if he likes her and he knows what he's doing and he has the courage to speak to her, he will go and give her one or two co- compliments, and then she will fall for him, and then she will, think that he is the one, and she will start to think about him every day and so on. طيب. And then he will, of course, use her to please himself for a few weeks and then throw her away. And we spoke about this as well in the series about the West here. This is a very common thing in the West, this entire lunch stuff. And this, of course, these people also are these males that are not men. يعني, if you were a real man, you would have you would have res, the res, the response, the responsibility of that يعني you get married to her and you provide for her and you take care of your kids and so on, and you dedicate yourself to that, and not like these Western people. And just they see girls as like a toy. Allah musta'an. Number three, uh, number three, it is that in some cultures it is common for men, or sorry, it has become common for men to not having a problem with their female relatives or with their wife or with their mahram, or so that she interacts in an inappropriate way with men. طيب. And as we said, the instinct of a man is to protect his wife, to protect his daughter, to طيب. And this is why some of the righteous people said that he would rather die than for a man to see the face of his wife. طيب. And I just want some people to think about this. والله Allah musta'an. So when this Gheerah dies in a society and it goes out, it is replaced by, as we said, the family unit being corrupted and breaking down from its core. And the most honorable are those who have the strongest ghira for themselves and for their families and for their communities. And this fire, this instinct of we could say is a fire, it purifies the soul, and it protects your family, or first of all you, and then your family, and then the society as a whole. To end, inshallah Azza wa Jal, Ghira is an is an is a trust, uh is an is an is an is an معنى that we will be asked about in front of Allah Azza wa Jal. And as we said, the one who doesn't have ghira, or the youth who doesn't care for any man to enter upon his wife, he will have a dead heart, طيب, and he will weaken his iman, and he has not fulfilled that which Allah Azza wa Jal uh, told him about. And marriage is not just that you uh, can do that with your wife, يعني that a man does with his with his wife, but as well it comes with that you need to provide for her, and that you need to protect her, and so on. And the same thing you need to apply to your daughter. Of course, not the first part, of course, but I mean the fact that you need to يعني protect her and يعني pro and pro and provide for her, and so on. Your daughter and your sister, and so on. Your uh your your aunt and your grandmother and your mm, and your mm, and your mother, and so on. Wallah musta'an. And you will be asked about this in front of Allah Azza wa Jal. As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. Each one of you uh, is responsible, and each one of you will be asked about those whom he is responsible for. This is the meaning, يعني. Not like a literal translation. So the so the so the consequences of this are, as we said, very severe of the youth, of the one who lacks protective honor of his family. The Prophet ﷺ said that he will not enter paradise. Well, 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 والعياذ بالله. And this is why the Prophet ﷺ compared the one who, or he said that the one who is killed defending his honor, that he is a shaheed. طيب. Of course, the rulings uh, are different, but this is not the place to speak about this. So this shows us how important it is to have the Gheerah, that it in this world preserves your family and preserves your marriage, and so, and in the next world, when you will be asked about this trust in front of Allah Azza wa Jal, you, inshallah Azza wa Jal, will say that you tried the best to protect your wife, to protect your sister and your daughter, and so on. Wallah musta'an. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.